Chapter 9. When I wake before the alarm the following morning, Christian is wrapped around me like ivy, his head on my chest, his arm around my waist, and his leg between mine, and he's on my side of the bed. It's always the same. And we argue the night before. This is how he ends up. Coiled around me, making me hot and bothered. Oh, 50. He is so needy on some level. Who would have thought? The familiar vision of Christian as a dirty, wretched little boy haunts me. Gently, I stroke his shorter hair, and my melancholy recedes. He stirs, and his sleepy eyes meet mine. He blinks a couple of times as he wakes. Hi, he murmurs and smiles. Hi, I love waking to that smile. He nuzzles my breasts and hums appreciatively deep in his throat. His hand travels down from my waist, skimming over the cool satin of my nightgown. What a tempting morsel you are, he mutters. But, tempting though you are, he glances at the alarm. I have to get up. He stretches out, untangles himself from me, and rises. I lie back, put my hands behind my head, and enjoy the show. Christian stripping for his shower. He is perfect. I wouldn't change a hair on his head. Admiring the view, Mrs. Gray. Christian arches a sardonic brow at me. It's a mighty fine view, Mr. Gray. He grins and throws his pajama pants at me so they almost land on my face, but I catch them in time. Giggling like a schoolgirl. With a wicked grin, he pulls the duvet off, puts one knee on the bed, grabs my ankles, and drags me toward him so that my nightdress rides up. I squeal, and he crawls up my body, trailing little kisses on my knee, my thigh, my, oh, Christian. Good morning, Mrs. Gray. Mrs. Jones greets me. I flush, embarrassed, remembering her tryst with Taylor the night before. Good morning, I respond as she hands me a cup of tea. I sit on the bar stool beside my husband, who just looks radiant, freshly showered, his hair damp, wearing a crisp white shirt, and that silver gray tie. My favorite tie. I have fond memories of that tie. How are you, Mrs. Gray? He asks, his eyes warm. Think you know, Mr. Gray. I gaze up at him through my lashes. He smirks. Eat, he orders. You didn't eat yesterday. Oh, bossy 50. That's because you were being an arse. Mrs. Jones drops something that clatters into the sink, making me jump. Christian seems oblivious to the noise. Ignoring her, he stares at me impassively. Arse or not eat. His tone is serious. No arguing with him. Okay. Picking up spoon, eating granola. I mutter like a petulant teenager. I reach for the Greek yogurt and spoon some onto my cereal, followed by a handful of blueberries. I glance at Mrs. Jones and she catches my eye. I smile, and she responds with a warm smile of her own. She has provided me with my breakfast of choice, which was introduced to me on our honeymoon. I may have to go to New York later in the week. Christian's announcement interrupts my reverie. Oh, it'll mean an overnight. I want you to come with me. Christian, I won't get the time off. He gives me his oh really, but I'm the boss stare. I sigh. I know you own the company, but I've been away for 3 weeks. Please, how can you expect me to run the business if I'm never there? I'll be fine here. I'm assuming you'll take Taylor with you, but Sawyer and Ryan will be here. A stop, because Christian is grinning at me. What? I snap. Nothing. Just you, he says. I frown. Is he laughing at me? Then a nasty thought pops into my mind. How are you getting to New York? The company jet. Why? I just wanted to check if you were taking Charlie Tango. Voices. Quiet, and a shiver runs down my spine. I remember the last time he flew his helicopter. A wave of nausea hits me as I recall the anxious hours I spent waiting for news. That was possibly the lowest point in my life. I notice Mrs. Jones has stilled too. I try to dismiss the idea. I wouldn't fly to New York in Charlie Tango. She doesn't have that kind of range. Besides, she won't be back from the engineers for another 2 weeks. Thank heavens. My smile is partly from relief, but also the knowledge that the demise of Charlie Tango has occupied a great deal of Christian's thoughts and time over the last few weeks. Well, I'm glad she's nearly fixed. But I stop. Can I tell him how nervous I'll be when he FLIs next time? What? He asks as he finishes his omelet. I shrug. Anna, he says, more sternly, last time you flew in her, I thought you'd. I can't finish the sentence, and Christian's expression softens. Hey, he caresses my face with the backs of his knuckles. That was sabotage. A dark expression crosses his face, and for a moment I wonder if he knows who was responsible. I couldn't bear to lose you, murmur. 5 people have been fired because of that, Anna. It won't happen again. 5? He nods, his face serious. Holy crap. That reminds me, there's a gun in your desk. He frowns at my non sequitur, and probably at my accusatory tone. Though I don't mean it that way. It's Leela's, he says finally. It's fully loaded. How do you know? His frown deepens. I checked it yesterday. He scowls at me. I don't want you messing with guns. I hope you put the safety back on. I blink at him, momentarily stupefied. Christian, there's no safety on that revolver. Don't you know anything about guns? His eyes widen. No. Taylor coughs discreetly from the entrance. Christian nods at him. We have to go, Christian says. He stands, distracted, and slips on his gray jacket. I follow him into the hallway. He has Leela's gun. I am stunned by this news and briefly wonder, what's happened to her? Is she still in, where is it? East somewhere. New Hampshire? I can't remember. Good morning, Taylor, Christian says. Good morning, Mr. Gray, Mrs. Gray. He nods at us both, but he's careful not to look me in the eye. I'm grateful, recalling my state of undress when we bumped into each other last night. I'm just going to brush my teeth, I mutter. Christian always brushes his teeth before breakfast. I don't understand why. You should ask Taylor to teach you how to shoot, I say as we travel down. In the elevator, Christian gazes down at me, amused. Should I now? He says dryly. Yes. Anastasia, despise guns. My mom has patched up too many victims of gun crime, and my dad is vehemently anti-gun. I grew up with their ethos. I support at least 2 gun control initiatives here in Washington. Oh, does Taylor carry a gun? Christian's mouth thins. Sometimes. You don't approve? I ask, as Christian ushers me out of the elevator. On the ground floor. No, he says, tight-lipped. Let's just say that Taylor and I hold very different views with regard to gun control. I'm with Taylor on this. Christian holds the foyer door open for me, and I head out to the car. He has not let me drive alone to SIP since he found out that Charlie Tango was sabotaged. Sawyer smiles pleasantly, holding the door open for me as Christian, and I climb into the car. Please. I reach across and grasp Christian's hand. Please what? Learn how to shoot. He rolls his eyes at me. No, end of discussion, Anastasia. And again I am a child to be scolded. I open my mouth to say something cutting, but decide I don't want to start my workday in a bad mood. I fold my arms instead and glimpse Taylor regarding me in the rearview mirror. He looks away, concentrating on the road in front, but shakes his head a little, in obvious frustration. Christian drives him crazy too, sometimes. The thought makes me smile, and my mood is saved. Where is Leela? I ask as Christian gazes out of his window. I told you, she's in Connecticut with her folks. He glances at me. Did you check? After all, she does have long hair. It could have been her driving the Dodge. Yes, I checked. She's enrolled in an art school in Hamden. She started this week. You've spoken to her? I whisper, all the blood draining from my face. Christian whips his head around at the tone of my voice. No, Flynn has. He searches my face for a clue to my thoughts. I see a murmur, relieved. What? Nothing. Christian sighs. Anna, what is it? I shrug, not wanting to admit to my irrational jealousy. Christian continues. I'm keeping tabs on her, checking that she stays on her side of the continent. She's better, Anna. Flynn has referred her to a shrink in New Haven, and all the reports are very positive. She's always been interested in art, so he stops, his face still searching mine, and in that moment I suspect that he is paying for her art classes. Do I want to know, should I ask him? I mean, it's not as if he can't afford it, but why does he feel the obligation? I sigh. Christian's baggage hardly compares to Bradley Kent from biology class and his half-assed attempts to kiss me. Christian reaches for my hand. Don't sweat this, Anastasia, he murmurs, and I return his reassuring squeeze. I know he's doing what he thinks is right. Mid-morning I have a break in meetings. As I pick up the phone to call Kate, I notice an email from Christian Gray. Subject: Flattery. Date: August 23, 2011 09:54. Anastasia Gray. Mrs. Gray, I have received 3 compliments on my new haircut. Compliments from my staff are new. It must be the ridiculous smile I'm wearing whenever I think about last night. You are, indeed, a wonderful, talented, beautiful woman. And all mine. Christian Gray, CEO, Gray Enterprises Holdings, Inc. I melt reading it. From Anastasia Gray. Subject: Trying to concentrate here. Date: August 23, 2011 10:48. Christian Gray. Mr. Gray, I am trying to work and don't want to be distracted by delicious memories. Is now the time to confess that I used to cut Ray's hair regularly? I had no idea it would be such useful training. And yes, I am yours, and you, my dear, overbearing husband who refuses to exercise his constitutional right under the Second Amendment to bear arms, are mine. But don't worry, because I shall protect you. Always, Anastasia Gray. Editor, SIP. From Christian Gray. Subject: Annie Oakley. Date: August 23, 2011 10:53. Anastasia Gray. Mrs. Gray, I am delighted to see you have spoken to the IT dept and changed your name. I shall sleep safe in my bed knowing that my gun-toting wife sleeps beside me. Christian Gray, CEO and hoplophobe, Gray Enterprises Holdings, Inc. Hoplophobe. What the hell is that? From Anastasia Gray. Subject: Long words. Date: August 23, 2011 10:58. To a Christian Gray. Mr. Gray, once more you dazzle me with your linguistic prowess. In fact, your prowess in general, and I think you know what I'm referring to. Anastasia Gray. Editor, SIP. From Christian Gray. Subject: Gasp. Date: August 23, 2011 11:01. Anastasia Gray. Mrs. Gray, are you flirting with me? Christian Gray. Shock CEO, Gray Enterprises Holdings, Inc. From Anastasia Gray. Subject: Would you rather? Date: August 23, 2011 11:04. Christian Gray. I flirted with someone else? Anastasia Gray. Brave Editor, SIP. From Christian Gray. Subject: Date: August 23, 2011 11:09. Anastasia Gray. No. Christian Gray. Possessive CEO, Gray Enterprises Holdings, Inc. From Anastasia Gray. Subject: Wow. Date: August 23, 2011 11:14. Christian Gray. Are you growling at me? 'Cause that's kinda hot. Anastasia Gray. Squirming in a good way. Editor, SIP. From Christian Gray. Subject: Beware. Date: August 23, 2011 11:16. Anastasia Gray. Flirting and toying with me, Mrs. Gray? I may pay you a visit this afternoon. Christian Gray. Priapic CEO, Gray Enterprises Holdings, Inc. From Anastasia Gray. Subject: Oh no. Date: August 23, 2011 11:20. Christian Gray. I'll behave. I wouldn't want my boss's boss getting on top of me at work. Now, I get on with my job. My boss's boss may fire my ass. Anastasia Gray. Editor, SIP. From Christian Gray. Subject: and date: August 23, 2011 11:23. Anastasia Gray. Believe me when I say there are a great many things he'd like to do to your ass right now. Firing you is not one of them. Christian Gray. CEO and ass man, Gray Enterprises Holdings, Inc. His response makes me giggle. From Anastasia Gray. Subject: go away. Date: August 23, 2011 11:26.to. Christian Gray. Don't you have an empire to run? Stop bothering me. My next appointment is here. I thought you were a breast man. Think about my ass, and I'll think about yours. Illy X. Anastasia Gray. Now moist editor, sip. I cannot help my despondent mood as Sawyer drives me to the office on Thursday. Christian's threatened business trip to New York has happened, and though he's been gone only a few hours, I miss him already. I fire up my computer, and there's an email waiting for me. My mood lifts immediately. From Christian Gray. Subject: miss you already. Date: August 25, 2011 04:30 to. Anastasia Gray. Mrs. Gray, you were adorable this morning. Behave while I'm away. I love you. Christian Gray. CEO, Gray Enterprises Holdings, Inc. This will be the first night we've slept apart since our wedding. I intend to have a few cocktails with Kate that should help me sleep. Impulsively, I email him back, although I know that he's still flying. From Anastasia Gray. Subject: behave yourself. Date: August 25, 2011 09:03.to. Christian Gray. Let me know when you land. I'll worry until you do, and I shall behave. I mean, how much trouble can I get into with Kate? Anastasia Gray. Editor, sip. I hit send and sip my latte, courtesy of Hannah. Who knew I'd grow to love coffee? Despite the fact that I'm going out this evening with Kate, I feel like a chunk of me is missing. At the moment, it's 35,000 feet somewhere above the Midwest en route to New York. I didn't know I would feel this unsettled and anxious just because Christian's away. Surely over time, I won't feel this loss and uncertainty. Will I? I let out a heavy sigh and continue with my work. Around lunchtime, I start manically checking my email and my BlackBerry for a text. Where is he? Has he landed safely? Hannah asks if I want lunch, but I'm too apprehensive and wave her away. I know it's irrational, but I need to be sure he's arrived safely. My office phone rings, startling me. On a street Gray. Hi. Christian's voice is warm with the trace of amusement. Relief floods through me. Hi. I'm grinning from ear to ear. How was your flight? Long. What are you doing with Kate? Oh no, we're just going out for a quiet drink. Christian says nothing. Sawyer and the new woman Prescott are coming to watch over us, I offer, trying to placate him. I thought Kate was coming to the apartment. She is after a quick drink. Please let me go out. Christian sighs heavily. Why didn't you tell me? He says quietly. Too quietly, I mentally kick myself. Christian, we'll be fine. I have Ryan, Sawyer, and Prescott here. It's only a quick drink. Christian remains resolutely silent, and I know he's not happy. I've seen her only a few times since you and I met. Please, she's my best friend. Anna, I don't want to keep you from your friends, but I thought she was coming back to the apartment. Okay, acquiesce. We'll stay in, only while this lunatic is out there. Please. I've said okay, mutter in exasperation, rolling my eyes. Christian snorts softly down the phone. I always know when you're rolling your eyes at me. I scowl at the receiver. Look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to worry you. Kate. Good. He breathes, his relief evident. I feel guilty for worrying him. Where are you? On the tarmac at JFK. So you just landed? Yes. You asked me to call the moment I landed. I smile. My subconscious glares at me. See? He does what he says he's going to do. Well, Mr. Gray, I'm glad one of us is punctilious. He laughs. Mrs. Gray, your gift for hyperbole knows no bounds. What am I going to do with you? I am sure you'll think of something imaginative. You usually do. Are you flirting with me? Yes. I sense his grin. I'd better go. Anna, do as you're told, please. The security team knows what they're doing. Yes, Christian, I will. I sound exasperated again. Geez, I get the message. I'll see you tomorrow evening. I'll call you later. To check up on me? Yes. Oh, Christian. I scold him. Au revoir, Mrs. Gray. Au revoir, Christian. I love you. He inhales sharply. And I you, Anna. Neither of us hangs up. Hang up, Christian, I whisper. You're a bossy little thing, aren't you? You're bossy little thing, mine. He breathes. Do as you're told. Hang up. Yes, sir. I hang up and grin stupidly at the phone. A few moments later, an email appears in my inbox. From Christian Grey. Subject: twitching palms. Date: August 25th, 2011, 13:42 EDT. To Anastasia Gray. Mrs. Gray, you are as entertaining as ever on the phone. I mean it. Do as you're told. I need to know you're safe. I love you. Christian Grey. CEO, Gray Enterprises Holdings, Inc. Honestly, he's the bossy one. But one phone call and all my anxiety has disappeared. He's arrived safely, and he's fussing about me as usual. I hug myself momentarily. God, I love that man. Hannah knocks on my door, distracting me, and brings me back to the now. Kate looks gorgeous. In her tight white jeans and red camisole, she's ready to rock the town. She's chatting animatedly with Claire in reception. When I make my entrance, Anna, she cries, scooping me up in a Kate hug. She holds me at arm's length. Don't you look the mogul's wife? Who would have thought, little Anna? Steele, you look so sophisticated. She grins. I roll my eyes at her. I'm wearing a pale cream shift dress with a navy belt and navy pumps. It's good to see you, Kate. I hug her back. So, where are we going? Christian wants us to go back to the apartment. Oh, really? Can't we sneak a quick cocktail at the Zigzag Cafe? I've booked us a table. I open my mouth to protest. Please? She whines and pouts prettily. She must be picking this up from Mia. She never pouts normally. I'd really like a cocktail at the Zig-Zag. We had such fun the last time we went there, and it's close to Kate's apartment. I hold up my index finger. 1. She grins. 1. She links her arm in mine, and we stroll out to the car, which is parked at the curb with Sawyer at the wheel. We're followed by Miss Belinda Prescott, who's new to the security team, a tall African-American with a no-nonsense attitude. I've yet to warm to her, maybe because she's too cool and professional. The jury's definitely out, but like the rest of the team, she's been handpicked by Taylor. She's dressed like Sawyer, in a dark somber pantsuit. Can you take us to the Zigzag, please, Sawyer? Sawyer turns to look at me, and I know he wants to say something. He's obviously been given his orders. He hesitates. The Zigzag Cafe. We'll have only one drink. I give Kate a sideways glance, and she's glaring at Sawyer. Poor man. Yes, ma'am, Mr. Gray requested you go back to the apartment. Prescott pipes up. Mr. Gray isn't here, I snap. The Zigzag, please. Ma'am, Sawyer replies with a sideways glance at Prescott, who wisely holds her tongue. Kate gapes at me as if she can't believe her eyes and ears. I purse my lips and shrug. Okay, so I'm a little more assertive than I used to be. Kate nods as Sawyer pulls out into the early evening traffic. You know the additional security is driving Grace and Mia crazy, Kate says casually. I gawk at her, baffled. You didn't know? She seems incredulous. Know what? Security for all of the Grays has been tripled. Gazillioned even. Really? He hasn't told you? I flush. No, damn it, Christian. Do you know why? Jack Hyde. What about Jack? I thought he was just after Christian. I gasp. Geez, why hasn't he told me? Since Monday, Kate says. Last Monday? We identified Jack on Sunday. But why all the Grays? How do you know all this? Elliot, of course. Christian hasn't told you any of this, has he? I flush once more. No. Oh, Anna, how annoying. I sigh. As ever, Kate has hit the nail squarely on the head in her usual sledgehammer style. Do you know why? If Christian's not going to tell me, then maybe Kate will. Elliot said it's something to do with information stored on Jack Hyde's computer when he was at SIP. Holy crap, you're kidding? A surge of anger pulses through me. How does Kate know about this when I don't? I glance up to see Sawyer eyeing me in the rearview mirror. The red light turns to green and he surges forward, focusing on the road ahead. Do you know why? If Christian's not going to tell me, Then maybe Kate will. Elliot said it's something to do with information stored on Jack Hyde's computer when he was at SIP. Holy crap, you're kidding? A surge of anger pulses through me. How does Kate know about this when I don't? I glance up to see Sawyer eyeing me in the rearview mirror. The red light turns to green and he surges forward, focusing on the road ahead. I hold my finger up to my lips and Kate nods. I bet Sawyer knows too. And I don't. How's Elliot? I asked to change the subject. Kate grins stupidly, telling me all I need to know. Sawyer pulls up at the end of the passageway that leads down to the zigzag cafe, and Prescott opens my door. I scoot out and Kate slides out after me. We link arms and meander down the passage, followed by Prescott, who's wearing a thunderous expression on her face. Oh, for heaven's sake, it's just a drink. Sawyer drives off to park the car. So how does Elliot know GIA? I ask, taking a sip of my second strawberry mojito. The bar is intimate and cozy, and I don't want to leave. Kate and I have not stopped talking. I had forgotten how much I like hanging with her. It's liberating to be out, relaxing, enjoying Kate's company. I contemplate texting Christian, then dismiss the idea. He'll just be mad and make me go home like an errant child. Don't talk to me about that bitch. Kate splutters. Kate's reaction makes me laugh. What's so funny, Steele? She snaps, but not seriously. Feel the same way. You do? Yes. She was all over Christian. She had a fling with Elliot. Kate pouts. No, she nods, her lips pressed together in the patented Catherine Kavanaugh scowl. It was brief. Last year, I think. She's a social climber. No wonder she has her sights set on Christian. Christian is taken. I told her to leave him alone or I would fire her. Kate gapes at me once more, stunned. I nod proudly, and she lifts her glass to salute me, impressed and beaming. Mrs. Anastasia Gray, way to go. We clink. Does Elliot own a gun? No, he's very anti-gun. Kate stirs her third drink. Christian, too. I think it was Grace and Carrick's influence, I mutter. I'm feeling a little tipsy. Carrick's a good man. Kate nods. He wanted a prenup. I mutter sadly. Anna. She reaches across the table and grasps my arm. He was only looking out for his boy. As we both know, you have gold digger tattooed on your forehead. She smiles at me, and I poke my tongue out at her, then giggle. Mature, Mrs. Gray, she says, grinning. She sounds like Christian. You'll do the same for your son one. My son? It hadn't even crossed my mind that my kids will be rich. Holy crap. They'll want for nothing. I mean, nothing. This needs further thought, but not right now. I glance at Prescott and Sawyer, seated nearby, watching us and the evening crowd from a side table, while they each nurse a glass of sparkling mineral water. Do you think we should eat? I ask. No, we should drink, Kate says. Why are you in such a drinking mood? Because I don't see enough of you anymore. I didn't know you'd up and marry the first guy who turned your head. She pouts again. Honestly, you married so quickly that I thought you were pregnant. I giggle. Everyone thought I was pregnant. Let's not rehash that conversation again, please. And I have to use the restroom. Prescott accompanies me. She says nothing. She doesn't have to. Disapproval radiates off her like a lethal isotope. I haven't been out on my own since I got married, I mutter. Wordlessly at the closed stall door, I make a face, knowing that she's standing on the other side of the door, waiting while I pee. What precisely is Hyde going to do in a bar anyway? Christian is just overreacting as usual. Kate, it's late. We should go. It's 10:15, and I have downed my fourth strawberry mojito. I am definitely feeling the effects of the alcohol. Warm and fuzzy. Christian, we'll be fine. Eventually, sure, Anna. It's been so good to see you. You just seem so much more, I don't know, confident. Marriage obviously agrees with you. A face warms. Coming from Miss Catherine Kavanaugh. This is indeed a compliment. It does, I whisper, and because I've probably had too much to drink. Tears prick the backs of my eyes. Could I be any happier? In spite of all his baggage, his nature, his 50ness, I have met and married the man of My dreams. I quickly changed the subject to stem my sentimental thoughts, because I know I will cry otherwise. I have really enjoyed this evening. I grasped Kate's hand. Thank you for dragging me out. We hug. As she releases me, I nod at Sawyer and he hands Prescott the keys to the car. I'm sure Miss Goody Two-Shoes Prescott has told Christian I'm not at home. He'll be mad, I muttered to Kate. And maybe he'll think of some delicious way to punish me. Hopefully. Why are you grinning like a loon, Anna? You like making Christian mad? No, not really, but it's easily done. He's very controlling sometimes. Most of the time, I've noticed. Kate says wryly. We pull up outside Kate's apartment. She hugs me hard. Don't be a stranger, she whispers and kisses my cheek. Then she's out of the car. I wave, feeling strangely homesick. I have missed girl talk. It's fun and relaxing, and it reminds me that I'm still young. I must make more of an effort to see Kate, but the truth is, I love being in my bubble with Christian. Last night, we attended a charity dinner together. There were so many men in suits and well-groomed elegant women talking about real estate prices and the failing economy and the plunging stock markets. I mean, it was dull, really dull. So it's refreshing to let my hair down with someone my own age. My stomach rumbles. I still haven't eaten. Shit, Christian. I scramble through my purse and fish out my BlackBerry. Holy crap, 5 missed calls, 1 text. There were so many men in suits and well-groomed elegant women talking about real estate prices and the failing economy and the plunging stock markets. I mean, it was dull, really dull. So it's refreshing to let my hair down with someone my own age. My stomach rumbles. I still haven't eaten. Shit, Christian. I scramble through my purse and fish out my BlackBerry. Holy crap, 5 missed calls, 1 text. Where the hell are you? And 1 email from Christian Grey. Subject: angry. You've not seen Angry Date. August 26, 2011, 0:42 EST. To Anastasia Gray. Anastasia, Sawyer tells me that you are drinking cocktails in a bar when you said you would end single quotes t.do you have any idea how mad I am at the moment? I'll see you tomorrow. Christian Grey, CEO, Gray Enterprises Holdings, Inc. My heart sinks. Oh shit, I really am in trouble. My subconscious glares at me, then shrugs. Wearing her "you made your bed, you lie in it" face. What did I expect? I contemplate calling him, but it's late, and he's probably asleep or pacing. I decide a quick text may be enough. I'm still in one piece. I had a nice time. Missing you, please don't be mad. I gaze at my BlackBerry, willing him to respond, but it's ominously silent. I sigh. Prescott pulls up outside a Scala and Sawyer gets out to hold the door open for me. As we stand waiting for the elevator, I take the opportunity to quiz him. What time did Christian call you? Sawyer flushes. About 9:30, ma'am. Why didn't you interrupt my conversation with Kate so I could speak with him? Mr. Gray told me not to. I purse my lips. The elevator arrives, and we ride up in silence. I'm suddenly grateful that Christian has a whole night to recover from his conniption, and that he's on the other side of the country. It gives me some time. On the other hand, I miss him. The doors to the elevator open, and for a split second I stare at the foyer table. What is wrong with this picture? The vase of flowers lies smashed into fragments all over the floor of the foyer. Water and flowers and chunks of china are strewn everywhere, and the table is overturned. My scalp prickles and Sawyer grabs my arm and pulls me back into the elevator. Stay there, he hisses, drawing a gun. He steps into the foyer and disappears from my field of vision. I cower in the back of the elevator. Luke. I hear Ryan call from inside the great room. Code blue. The vase of flowers lies smashed into fragments all over the floor of the foyer. Water and flowers and chunks of china are strewn everywhere, and the table is overturned. My scalp prickles and Sawyer grabs my arm and pulls me back into the elevator. Stay there, he hisses, drawing a gun. He steps into the foyer and disappears from my field of vision. I cower in the back of the elevator. Luke. I hear Ryan call from inside the great room. Code blue. Code blue, you have the perp? Sawyer calls back, Jesus H. Christ. I flatten myself against the elevator wall. What the hell is going on? Adrenaline spikes through my body, and my heart leaps into my throat. I hear soft voices, and a moment later Sawyer reappears in the foyer, standing in the puddle of water. He holsters his gun. You can come in, Mrs. Gray, he says gently. What's happened, Luke? My voice is barely a whisper. We've had a visitor. He takes my elbow, and I'm grateful for the support. My legs have turned to jelly. I walk with him through the open, double doors. Ryan is standing at the entrance of the great room. A cut above his eye is bleeding, and there's another on his mouth. He looks roughed up, his clothes disheveled. But what's more shocking is Jack Hyde slumped at his feet,